a little bit, so we would really want to start. And once again, really apologies. So for those who have had the time to go through the program for the event, we have made a few changes here and there just to ensure that it's really a celebration. So please bear with us, but we hope to really, as we start, move up with speed, and then conclude the session with a celebration jointly. So first of all, let me take this opportunity to really welcome all of us to this Changing the Way We Care closeout event that is themed celebrating our journey of care transition, a legacy of technical leadership, influence, learning, and system strengthening. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, karibuni sana. And through the program, we will let you know in terms of some of the changes we've made, but I will be your MC for today, but I'll also be supported by my colleague seated across the room. If you can wave to the team, he's Mark Maluki. When he comes to stage, he will definitely introduce himself. What I would really want us to do is just to acknowledge everybody who is present here today, and I'll not ask every one of us to introduce ourselves. I'll just mention, we will either stand or lift our hands just to recognize. We will have a special session where our senior colleagues will definitely mention out, give a shout out to our representation here today. Sawa. So allow me to begin by first of all recognizing colleagues from the State Department, Children's Services, Secretary who is here together with colleagues. Asanteni sana kwa kuja. We thank you. Also allow me to recognize all the way from Nyamira County, Director Rachel Congo. She's over there. Thank you so much for coming. Friendship have no limits, they have no boundaries, so that's a true reflection of the friendship that we have built. Allow me to also recognize colleagues from UN agencies, that is UNICEF and UNODC, for coming over here to celebrate with us. Thank you. Allow me to recognize the Qadhi's court and the Chief Qadhi's office for being here. It really means a lot. Shukran for coming. I'll also take this opportunity to recognize the representation from the Catholic Conference of Bishops in Kenya. Colleague here, welcome Elizabeth for coming. Let me also take this opportunity to welcome, I don't want to say former, Director, Mr. Hussein, Children's Services, when he also worked with the former Director, Children's Services. We always say when he's in the room, things don't go wrong. A very wise man. And most of us can attest to that. Let me also take the opportunity to welcome colleagues, our partners who implemented Changing the Way We Care. So we have ICS represented in the room. We have colleagues who worked. Thank you so much, Beatrice, for coming. We have colleagues who worked, former colleagues worked for another partner called Kesho Kenya, but now he's working for Shelter Yetu, so I'm sure you're wearing those two hats. Thank you so much for coming. We also have Manga Hat, although they are not represented here. CICC, also not represented here, but we also want to recognize them. Let me also take this opportunity to welcome again Friendship made all the way to Kilifi County, Mr. Matthias Suma, Director, Director Disability Services. Thank you so much for finding time and accepting to join us today. Let me also take this opportunity to recognize the other international and local NGOs. We have SOS represented, Open Homes for Children, Child in Family Focus, Open Homes. Thank you, SOS, Tushinde team, Change Trust. Thank you so much. Africa Heart, thank you so much. We can extend a round of applause to the team for being here. Let me also recognize our very own, the voices when it comes to matters, care reform, representation from Kenya Society of Caregivers in Kenya. Without them, you cannot discuss matters children without the representation of children. KESCA representation, thank you. Thank you so much. I also want to take this opportunity to recognize Kafala Steering Committee, the people who spoke, slept, drank, walked, breathed Kafala to ensure Kafala, see its shape. So we have from Kilifi, we have colleagues from Mombasa, our sisters from Mombasa and Kisumu, karibuni sana. We have a Catholic Archdiocese of Mombasa also represented here at the back. Thank you so much. Let me also recognize the people who have been in the agenda of Kafala, Al Khair Foundation, for being here. Asante sana. Thank you very much. I had saved this for, the host. So allow me to also recognize Admins Group. Admins Group is an organized group that oversees CCIs or orphanages that are run by Muslims. So they are here, they are represented. I'm sure we are expecting to have someone else. So anything to do with children services, charitable children institution, through funded by the Muslim, we have representation there. You're from Admins Group, the two of you. Thank you so much. I'm not so sure whether I have left. Lumos, Teresia. How can I forget? Thank you so much, Teresia, for finding time to join us. I know mkubwa kidogo ameenda kupiga debe elsewhere. Please send our gratitudes for your representation here as well. Colleagues, allow me to also, in a special way, recognize the team that has been in this initiative, Changing the Way We Care, for the past 7 years. And I would request the teams to stand. We would have loved to have the entire team, but due to circumstances, we are representing them in absentia. So we have a team from CRS standing here, Fidelis, myself. We have our leadership, Margaret Kahiga and Dr. Edwin Bugwa. We have our other partner in the consortium, Maestro International, Anna, and so, to be honest, without all of you, we wouldn't be celebrating these milestones today. So we will definitely want to take this moment today to reflect on the milestones that we have achieved, the partnerships that we have made that made this possible, and the future of care reform in Kenya. So it's a conversation that we are going to have as we celebrate. We would be asking ourselves, how do we make this partnership stronger? And what is the future for care reform here in Kenya? So basically, that is what we are here to celebrate, and hopefully we will all benefit, and we encourage all of us to network. So as we start off, we have a marketplace behind us. There's a marketplace. We have a display of several resources. We encourage you to just walk by, pick any item you feel you want to pick. We also have some activities happening behind. Please find time to interact, but most importantly, let us network. Let us network so that we form those lasting relationships today. So before we now delve deeper into the session, it's good to bring God in front of the agenda. So I'll ask Sheikh Father has not arrived. Okay, can I ask Ustad Harun to bless the meeting for us? Shukran.
Pray. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alamin wa salatu wassalamu ala Rasulillah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Allahumma aftah lana bil khair wa akhtim lana bil khair wa ja'alna min ahlil khair. Allahumma yasir alayna kulla asir wa bitasirka anta anim bina basir. Birahmatika ya arhamar rahimin. Sallallahu alayhi wa sallam.
Shukran, Sheikh. So at least now we are in the hands of the Most High, the Almighty. And to start us off, they always say, relax, sit back, relax, and enjoy. To set the pace, we have a short video that we would want to share with you so that we have a better understanding of what changing the way we care is, who is changing the way we care, and then now we can proceed to the next session. So please sit back, relax, and enjoy the video.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. As my previous speaker had stated earlier, my name is Maluki. Mark Maluki is my name. Youth Advisory Group Committee Chair for this Nairobi that we are in. And I'll be also helping you guide so that we can go and celebrate as Hadija had stated earlier. And right into our next state of event, we'll be going through so that we need to know how this program started. It has been quite over a year, and it's remarkable to note that the program started, it was given birth, a child was born, it was raised, and right now it's grown. But tuseme tu Waswahili, bahati mbaya Waswahili wasema kilicho mwanzo kina mwisho, kwa bahati mbaya. Lakini ila kwa sasa tunataka tujue kumeendaje kwa miaka yote. Through the years, what has transpired, how things have gone, the achievements that have been achieved, and everything that has entailed through changing the way we care. So for my next presenter, it's not that she's new or someone that you don't know. She was here actually. So please, if you don't mind actually, a round of applause, tafadhali. Tumkaribishe Hadija atupeleke kuhusu program hii. Mwenyewe jana madaa, antoka amesmile, mtoto huyo. Nashukuru sana.
Thank you so much, my fellow MC. You know, in professional language, I think when I grow up, I would want to be hosting, MC, and you know, I hear people make a lot of money there. It's true. So you know, you are my future. No, future what? Yes. So please rate me after this, eh? Si tumeambiwa tulizaa mtoto, gave birth, we raised the child gave birth to grandchildren, we are retiring, but we are still hopeful that something big is coming up. We are not giving up. The people of faith do not give up. We believe in the Creator. Sindio? Yeah, so what I'm going to do is briefly take us through some achievements. And these achievements are achievements that we would want to celebrate, all of us, because it is not the work of changing the way we care, but rather a contribution from all of us. So we are here to celebrate. Let's celebrate our achievements. And to start, as they set me up to the slides where I'll present the achievements, just to give a brief background. So Changing the Way We Care is a global initiative. Catherine. Yeah, so Changing the Way We Care is a global initiative. It began in 2018, and there was a competition that was called out where people were supposed to apply for an innovative idea. And in the innovative idea, Maestro, Changing the Way, CRS, also Lumos was originally there. We quickly throw out an idea of, can we change the way we care for our children? Because studies have shown that children thrive better in safe and nurturing environments. We had the people who won this, and it was in, I think, Iraq, something to do with education. So they beat us at that moment. So we gave the runners up. But because the idea was bold, we've always known ourselves as bold initiative. We didn't shy away from making mistakes, but we made sure the mistakes that we made us learn to make things better. So it's a global initiative. It is in Kenya, in Moldova, Haiti, India, Guatemala. And of these 5 countries, Kenya, Moldova, and Guatemala are winding up because of the current global financial constraints. But our colleagues in India and Haiti are continuing because they have a different donor and not USAID. It started off in 2018, and when we came here in Kenya, we really thought, for sustainability of the project, you need to ensure that the government takes this role up. And we are really happy that it wasn't so easy. I think I was in a platform elsewhere where we've been acknowledged that Kenya, it's really, people don't understand how comes the relationship between the CSOs and the government is very cordial. And we say that's the nature of Kenyans. Sindio? We love one another. That's the nature of Kenyans. Tunapigana, but of course we come together, sit on a table, agree, and move on. So this is something that is good about us. So we started off with having very high-level meetings with government for buy-in, but also working with government to tell us, because we started in as a pilot initiative, but we also acknowledge that care reform started a while back, way in 2014, where we had earlier 2004 or something. Yeah, thereabout. But this global movement, when it came in now, it blew up this idea of we need to change the way we care for our kids. And that is how the bold idea came in of changing the way we care. But on the ground, we acknowledge that we had UNICEF on the ground. We had the likes of Hope and Homes, Child in Family Focus, Kenya, we have KESCA, among other partners. But just briefly, our bold ideas and why were we calling ourselves, a bold initiative. First of all, as I'd mentioned, the vision was to ensure that children thrive in safe and nurturing environment. And this message is clearly stipulated in the National Care Reform Strategy 2022-2032. But our focus in terms of how to do this was really to work very closely to government so that government takes up this role in terms of promoting family care support for children. But also, as we do that, One thing that we are known for is there's a lot of evidence that we've produced here in Kenya. The lessons that we learned in Kenya, we shared in other countries within the initiative, and they really picked from here. For example, the National Care Reform Strategy in Moldova, they actually borrowed from here. Situation analysis, case management package that we developed. Most of the other countries learn from Kenya. And finally, we wanted to champion, an initiative that really champions this shift of making sure that children, grow up in a safe and nurturing environment. So when we look through the next slide, this really summarizes what was the basic focus? What were we focusing on? For those familiar with the care system, there are around 6 components that really focus on the care system. There's a bit of financing, there's the social service workforce, there's delivering the services, there's monitoring where learning, evidence is produced. There's also policies and laws. You can only do something if you have the policies and laws, and changing the social norms and practice of individuals. You may promote something, but people are not buying it. It will not happen. So our main focus was on those care system strengthening, but on the extreme right, those are some of the key areas we focused on. And these were really based on what the country was really focusing on in terms of the care system assessment that was done in the country. If we look at the next slide, this is also a repetition. And for those, again, familiar with care reform, we have the famous Mercedes-Benz, the care reform Mercedes-Benz, where for children who have separated, we strengthen alternative family care, support their integration. We support institutions to transform the way they care for, for children, from institution to community and family-based care. But then the focus is through those system components. Looking at the next slide, basically is, how did we do it? How did we do it? What were we anchoring ourselves on? So we realize we are not in a vacuum. There are people on the ground that we need to partner and work together. So government, really top of the list. We had other partners, international partners, foundations, local NGOs, networks, organized groups of people with lived experience, including caregivers and even persons with disabilities. So basically, we really strengthen focus, not forgetting the faith community, the Catholics, the Anglicans, and other faiths, including the Muslim. If you look at the next slide, really just points out some of these achievements. And in the package that we gave you, we have a report that you can actually make reference to. As I'd mentioned previously, is our focus was basically to build evidence, generate what is working, how did we do it, what is not working, what needs to change, or how do we want to learn from this. So globally, we managed to harvest around 467 outcomes. And again, all our work was revolving around those care system components. So you can see in terms of the years, how we've been, which years when you start is really very low, but then as you move, you could see that we've been, fluctuating, but the numbers have been going up until the last year of the project, where there was a bit of, slowing down in terms of implementation, but again, we didn't shy away from collecting those outcomes. And majority of some of those outcomes or behaviors, you could see in terms of social actors across the 5 countries, a lot of the outcomes we've collected is around the government actors, their recognition, their commitment, policies coming in. So they were the top at the list, which is something good. And I think we can really acknowledge our government here for the amazing work that they've done. And then civil society, we are next on the list. So if you look at the next slide, these are some of the contextual successes on the ground. This lady is one of the Kafala committee member of Kisumu, and she had some, her own, Kisumu, her own recognition of the work that we did and the partnership that we've had with them. But generally, I think for me, what is most important is, if you don't have the workforce, if the workforce is not, the capacity is not built, we will not be in a position to deliver, right? So at least the focus is strengthening the workforce, We also, beyond the workforce, recognize one. We also reach out to community-owned groups, community representation, and of course, government. And one thing that really helped us here in Kenya is when we started, I think we started, and I know, Kathleen, these are the conversations we were having. We want the government to take lead. So we would do, it was a bit difficult, but I think by the second year, the government was, ready, and they would lead presentations, they would do the trainings, they would help us develop those resources. And we have a team at the State Department, Children's Services, and other departments that are really, really equipped in terms of delivering, which for me is sort of sustainability. Looking at the next slide, this is now home in terms of the amount of outcomes that we've managed to harvest. And again, in those care system component, and what we've seen is that to some extent, there was some bit of slowing down in the intake of children into institution, but figuring out how the transitioning would look like. So again, in terms of service delivery, there was a lot of commitment where people are saying, yes, care reform is doable. Yes, we can actually take care of children in our household. And yes, community and family-based care is much cheaper compared to residential care institutions. So those are some of the examples of commitment. In terms of legislation, we say in Kenya, we have all the policies, the guidelines we need to implement care reform. What is needed from us is implementation. So I think we have laid the foundation right. Right now is really now to move forward to implement those guidelines. So the next slide, again, these are some of the results that we saw in terms of caregivers benefiting. So these were this is the first phase of the initiative, which is 2018 to up until 2020. And this is when we were actively implementing through our local partners and reaching out to caregivers and families and working closely with CCIs. And throughout the life, we also did bits of household survey. We did annual reviews, and some of these results are coming up from those surveys that we did. Next slide. This is now global in terms of children and caregivers, which is really a replica of the previous slide. I think we can go to the next slide. This is also some of the results from our household survey, which again, you can easily find them at Better Care Network. I think let's move to the next. Yeah. So I think for me, this is a very interesting slide. It's complicated as per one of our global director. She says it's complicated but beautiful in terms of explaining outcomes. So what we are seeing here is we have, what is it that we did that contributed to the change? So the circles are the things changing the way we care did. And the ones in square, or is it rectangle? I think square, sort of, are some of the results. So maybe I can run us through one so that we appreciate the outcome. So when we started in 2019, there was a lot of development of guidelines, like case management guidelines, alternative family care guidelines, gatekeeping guidelines. So what we realized, those learning products we developed together with government, we ended up training. So we had senior colleagues from national office, training county level TOTs, the county level TOTs at government. They went down to the counties and trained social service workforce from the institution, from the community. So we are following the arrow. Purple, the two red, training of government. Then the next red is training social service workforce in the field. Then let's go all the way, follow that arrow to the first, is it bluish or color, where after the training, one of the outcome is we had establishment of the Kafala Steering Committee. One of the training there is training people on alternative family care, training people on care reform. And as a result of that, people said, matters Kafala, let's have a steering committee. So that's an outcome. How this outcome came about, there were a lot of training, but then if you come back here before the box, we have learning products. social actor events and exchange visits and government meeting. Just giving a simple example in Mombasa, where Mr. Hussein was there. We had our colleagues together with government who went down there, talked to the Muslim committee members. It was a lot of fight, like, But then after that, as I'd said earlier, we fight, but we find a resolution. So it was agreed, and that is when we ended up with one of the Kafala steering committee. It was developed in Kilifi. Kilifi informed Kisumu. We went to Mombasa and Garissa. And now we are in Garissa, Wajir Matters Kafala. So from there, yes, this is what I also wanted. We had youth coming in, and we ended up supporting Kafala activities, both at the national level with support from UNICEF, and also went to Garissa to do that. Then the next outcome is we had DCS, NCCS, Kadis Court, Malindi Teachers Association, we had SUPKEM, CIPK. They validated the first national framework for implementation of Kafala in Kenya. Able to jipigie magoti. And thank you very much. It was really an interesting. I remember one of our colleagues, we were in a room where we were reviewing the SOPs on alternative care. And people were divided into groups. So we had kinship, we had adoption, we had guardianship, and Kafala only had one person. Because people didn't understand what it was all about. The other ones were easy. So that is when someone thought, something is not right. And that is when people said, let's reach out to NCAJ. NCAJ, they gave us our very own, who will definitely join us here. But we also said, other than that, we have Muslim scholars, we have advisors, we have organized group. So we brought in SUPKEM, CIPK, Mr. Hussein, Al Khair Foundation, and other partners to actually advance. And one of the things I'm very proud of today is this. So, sijui tuite mjuku. I think someone was saying, and I see ameingia kwa room, anasema mimi ni shangazi wa care reform, which I don't mind. I am a care reform aunt. Yeah, so if we could quickly go to the other slide just to show another outcome in terms of transition. So how did we manage to see, institution really transitioning? Again, it's the same learning product. So that means the foundation, if we have the right policies, the right guidelines, then we will be able to actually provide the right. The intention is there, the will is there, the how is the issue. So I think with the learning products, we end up training. And from that training where we had a specific CCI in Nyamira, out of that, they went ahead and reached out to their management, sold their management committed to support, and this particular CCI transitioned to community and family-based care. So we really have those results out there that we can actually use and sell. And I know colleagues, I know Child and Family Focus Kenya, they're actually doing the same. They have positive results in Kajiado and other places. We have people like Tushinde who are actually amazing when it comes to issues of foster care. So with this beautiful infograph, this is how complicated it has been to document outcomes. But the good thing is, it's very easy to write. So we would fear writing, but it's just a story we wrote, but then someone behind the stories helped us pull this together. So these are some of the ways we were actually documenting outcomes across the initiative. So the next slide shows us some of the things that we have recently worked with the government. I know through the support of UNICEF, there was the push of how well do we support the social service workforce, right? And one of the things is, you can pay me well, you can take me to a beautiful hotel, but if I do not have that platform to engage, to be talked to, then the monies and everything else may not be the best motivator or the only motivator. So one of the things is, in that investment case of social service workforce, supportive supervision was pointed out as one of the area that the government need to focus. And we had already started, I think it's like a premonition we had with the government. Let's try to come up with a supportive supervision. So as we speak, we have a validated, approved national level standard operating procedures, supportive supervision for child protection workforce in Kenya that we will be launching today in the presence of our peers. So kudos and a big shout out to the team at the State Department, all the departments for their contribution. The other thing, apologies if I become excited when I see the next slide, but this is another one that I cannot hide my excitement. Mr. Hussein was telling my country manager, CRS, you've really hold the hands, matters kafala. But my manager told him, if it were not for you people, we wouldn't be where we are. So this is a these are collective efforts. So this is another document, long awaited. So it went through 2 phases of visit, 3 phases of validation. A while back, we have colleagues who have gone before Almighty, who also contributed, but we will also be launching, and I am so happy that our Chief Kadhi is here with us, who, you see him here, he's also been in this conversation before he became the Chief Kadhi. So it could be baraka for the contribution. So we really appreciate, first of all, the role that the Kadhi's court has played, the role of the Kadhis in terms of giving us that Islamic jurisprudence, in terms of making sure as we align this into the laws of the land, we are also not forgetting that this is something that is practiced. So this is one of the documents that we'll be launching today, and we will also be launching the monitoring and evaluation framework for care reform in Kenya. So if just to finish, what are some of these lessons that we learned across the 7 years? Remember I said we started in 2018. One of the things we picked is that faith influence. Faith has a place at the table. If we actually use faith community, if today we want to speak to the Catholic, if we talk to Father Konyach and ask Father, Karibu, asante sana. We want to sell the idea. If our father speaks of that idea at the church, hairudi, si ndio? It goes. Same thing. You want to talk to me and convince me to pick an idea, tell the kadhi to speak, or the imam, the sheikh at the nearby mosque. Anasema hiyo tumekubali bila pingamizi. So what we are saying is that the faith community has a role to play, matters care reform. The Bible, the Quran teaches us on the importance of a family. Sindio? Yeah, and I don't think we have any prophet that we have come across that was placed in an institution. Yeah? But those are some of the things we want to. Then the other thing is partnerships. Partnerships and local ownership. Right? So we cannot do this thing alone. We need each other, and that is why we are here to celebrate, but also to really figure out how we can move forward with this agenda. Then the other thing we learned is sustaining change. Let's be very honest. Change takes time. Sindio? When you bring a new idea in your house, we don't expect the following day everyone will wake up and start saying, okay, now we've changed. It takes time. So for as long as we understand that care reform and system change is long, and it is not linear from here to there, it takes, that web shape. We appreciate that we learn, we fail, but we will definitely get there for as long as we have the vision. So these are some of the things we've learned. The other thing is about scaling care reform. For us to be able to scale, you need to test, you need to learn, and you need to put the lessons that you've learned, and you need to adapt. And one of the things that really helped us as an initiative is what we called adaptive management. We quickly adapted. We wouldn't shy away from sharing information on, we did this, it didn't work, and this is how we did it differently. And finally, design, build, the last on land, Fidelis, previous slide. Yeah, the last design, build, and scaling requires multiple enabling conditions. We need to be flexible, We need to appreciate culture. We need to appreciate there's religion. We need to appreciate there are circumstances where we could be having issues like COVID that really hit us very hard. But then how do we adapt to those changes? So final thoughts. Just to understand, there's this famous musemo, sijui ni wa Kizungu ama ni wa Kiswahili, hiyo ya it takes a village. That means it takes all of us to raise that child. And I remember when I was growing up, Mr. Hoyd, my dad and mom would tell me, we've closed school, we'll take you to your aunt. We expect you to behave. And when you're beaten by the neighbor, and your parent, I hope I'm not trying to, share my age. I am young at heart, very young. But those years, those who can relate with me. When you go out and you're beaten by the neighbor, and your parent comes to know that you're beaten by the neighbor, the consequences? Double. But these days, you beat my child. Beat my child. What happens? Tunasimama, si ndio? Yeah. But that's not how we were. We were raised by a village. We grew up. We were nurtured. Si ndio, Mr. Mongo? And we are good like me. Munipigieni makofi jamani. I'm a good girl. Yeah. What I'm trying to say here is that the care reform goal really, really necessitates collaboration of like-minded partners like you, me, you, him, her, them, and all of us. Tujipigieni makofi jamani. Thank you. So we are here for a purpose. We are here, yes, we are closing, but we are here opening up a new chapter for something big, something better for the people and the children of this country. It's a commitment, Cindy, that we want to make. So this is just a summary which is also displayed behind in terms of really seeing the change. But the big message here, colleagues, is we cannot achieve what we want to achieve. That goal of that National Care Reform Strategy, 2032, if we do not work together. But I am honored and happy to see all of us, na tumeitikia mwito, for coming here, celebrating with us, but reviving that partnership, reviving the energy in terms of how do we move forward. It's not just changing the way we care that is closing. It is actually the funding landscape that is changing. How then do we adapt to that change in that landscape? We can do it. Who said we don't have resources? I can give pro bono services. You call me, I train, we train. So I think it's how are we going to speak this issue of changing that narrative and talking to each other. So please encouraging you to network at tea break, network. Don't sit with someone who you know or you sit with in the office. Please move around, make new friends, so that we are able to move this agenda forward. So that marks the end of this presentation, and it's really an opportunity for us to celebrate some of this milestone. A lot of changing the way we care information is available anywhere, and majorly BCN. And I know for those who have the notebooks, we have a QR code on the first or is this second page of the notebook of where you can access resources, including the government platforms that we can use. So I think with that, I mark the end of this presentation, and also to say huge thank you and to welcome colleagues who have joined us a bit late. We understand it's Nairobi, so Father Konyach from Archdiocese of Kisumu, Busana, colleagues from SUPKEM, feel welcome, colleagues from the State Department Children's Services, karibuni sana. Asanteni sana, and we can warm up and give this young girl a nice and beautiful clap, and we also appreciate ourselves for being here. So let's warm up. This is for you guys, for listening in, for engaging with me. Tujipatie moja. Thank you. Before I take it back to my colleague, any observations, any thoughts, any aha moment like, oh wow, oh my God, I didn't know that worked like that. Oh, I didn't understand that one. What did you mean? Any aha moments? Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum and good morning, everyone. My name is Dr. Abdallah Bajabir. I'm a consultant pediatrician working at the head of department of a public hospital in Nairobi. And this is an aha moment for me. The only thing is that I feel like, and apologies if I have not been in the know, but I feel like the awareness has been extremely low. I understand a lot has been going on in the background, but being someone who deals with a lot of issues of placement, especially of abandoned children and children who come to the facilities who need this kind of care, I feel like this could be a game changer for majority of us, despite the fact that the DCS processes, and this is probably a conversation you can have on the side, have been extremely slow in terms of placement of the children. But as a pediatrician, and also in my position as the Secretary General of the Kenya Association of Muslim Medical Professionals, I think as a team of healthcare workers, we could really come in big to help these processes, including the care that these children would need before and after the process of kafala, as well as contributing to the kafala model, hopefully. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Daktari. And it always feels nice to get someone new into the room. Sindio? He is helping us to think, oh my God, we have not done it the way it's supposed to be. And I just want to acknowledge your statement. We were in a meeting with the Chief Kadhi and he said, guys, awareness, we are not doing well. And then we were like, Nairobi, how can we not just do something in Nairobi? So that's a message that has been passed. And he's willing to mobilize the Kenya Medical Association members to speak through this idea, work with them. So that's a new partnership we have made. And Daktari, rest assured, after this, we will definitely come, and hopefully the rest of us who are here. But I think there's something that needs to be done, colleagues from the State Department, in terms of how do we think now going out. I think I'm happy that even the government is starting to go, it's no longer pilots. Indio, Mr. Hoyt, we are now 47 counties. It's long overdue. And that's the agenda. So Daktari, thank you so much for highlighting that. And it's a point to really think what next, and definitely we'll reach out. Shukran. This is a powerful room. The ladies have woken up. Thank you. Powerful, powerful.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I'm Fatma Hussein from SUPKEM Kisumu, steering committee. I really appreciate the way Kafala came. By now, we have some CCIs which has turned as a college in Kisumu by refunding the children at home. And we really appreciate, because some of other children who are in CCI for about 20 years, they were there since they were 5 years to 20. And now we have a wedding of our daughter who was in CCI and returned at home. We are going to celebrate about that one. You can see it was very important because this girl did not know the family, and now she knows the family, and she's going to be married through the family. We really appreciate, and we thank the Hadija and everybody who came to changing the way we care and other partnerships. Thank you so much.
societies. Morning, everyone. I'm Rahab Nyawera. Here on behalf of Kenya Society of Caregivers, but I'm also here as a frontline worker in the care reform sector. I have been in the frontline, so when I see the presentation, it really makes me proud that we are able to reflect and to see how we can do better. So one of the aha moments for me, especially in the front line as a social worker, is when you talked about supportive supervision for the social workforce. You know, as a social worker who has been in the field of care reform, maybe from 2020, one of the things that, you know, the reflections we always don't get to hear what's the experience for people in the field. So the fact that we are speaking about having this supervision, it really shows that the work we are doing in the field, it should not be taken for granted. Like, it is quite disheartening. Sometimes you walk in this children's home, you work with families, and the challenges with the aid cards, it's really showing us that all we do is not in vain. So I urge all my colleagues here that everything we do, let's not take it for granted. It is actually impacting lives. I can tell you from a perspective of a caregiver and as a frontline worker in the field. So I'm really pleased that we are looking into the people impacting the people directly in the field. Let's not just listen to them. Let's not just listen to them. Act on their pain, act on their traumas, because this is re-traumatizing. So we should support them wherever we can and walk the journey with them. That's all I can say. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Two voices in one, a practitioner, person who has lived through the experience, and can't agree with you more. You have to take care of your workforce. I don't know whether we have any comment from our State Department colleagues with regards to the supportive supervision. Kama kuna kitu nataka kuongezea hapo, supportive supervision, umuhimu wake, what is the direction, or we went for the launch? We wait for the launch. Asante, Bwana Hoid.
Let me stand so that for those who do not know me, my name is Isadia Hoid. And when Khadija talks, sisi umuita, or we usually call her Shangazi wa care reform. She's the aunt to care reform. She's the mother of care reform. I'm the uncle of care reform in this country. We've worked with them so closely. And what Rahab is saying, Rahab has been one of our volunteer social workers matters care reform. And when it comes to supportive supervision, it is where you now go to the field as a team. That the implementing officers, that the implementing committees, we have implementing agencies, including government, including various state agencies, Ministry of Education, Ministry of Health, talk about even transport, because when we are talking about children with disability who have been separated from families, and you want to take them back to the community, you are looking at the school setup. Will this child get that support from the education system? And if it's a child with a physical disability or any form of disability, how will he access, say, the classroom, the toilet facilities, crossing the road, and this is a child with disability? So that is when we are saying it's a comprehensive package. And when you're talking about the comprehensive package, then there is that supportive. And supportive supervision or supportive system is where you now guide all those that are involved without pointing a finger that you are supposed to do this. When you are constructing this classroom, it was supposed to have a RAM. No, but you guide that there is a room for improving this structure. to cater for children with disability, we can do this. So that is what we call supportive. Very key when it comes to any program, and especially care reform. And as we move forward, and as Khadija has said, as we move forward, I want to believe the institutional memory that has been with the staff from CRS will not be buried. We are going to revive it. We are going to look for you guys, because the knowledge that you have, it is that knowledge that will improve and will strengthen systems within this country for purposes of implementing care reform. So as even we wait for the launch for everything, we are going to work together. That one we can promise. We are going to support you. We'll always call on you, because the information you have is what we need for care reform in this country. And for those seated in this room, you are the champions. And as a champion, you leave a legacy in whatever you are doing. You see that young boy walking, that young tall boy whom Khadija is talking to, Hussein, the one going out, that one. He is an institution within this country in matters children. There is nowhere you can discuss issues to do with children without mentioning his name. And that is why, irrespective of the fact that he retired from active protection of children's rights in the State Department or in the Directorate then of Children Services, there is no forum you will miss that young man that has just walked out. So as you leave this room, we want to meet and meet again, because as champions, there is no way we are going to leave you out in any matter that relates to a child. And with those many remarks, Khadija, come and pick your mic. Asante ni sana.
There was a prayer he made, Mr. Head hapo ya mwisho mwisho, eh? Ama mukuisikia? He made a prayer, although he didn't announce. The institutional memory of the people who have been in this process, we don't want it to get lost. Amen. Where it will go, God knows. But we do not want it to go. The confirmation and affirmation is that we are here to stay. We are Kenyans. We work for the children of this country. So we will definitely be continuing to work together as a team. Asante sana, Director Hoyd, Uncle Care Reform. Madam Rachel, karibu.
Thank you. After talking about supporting the social workers and supervision, I'll also appreciate CRS because it has touched people of Nyamira, and especially the BWD and children. Because through CRS, we managed to develop the Nyamira Child Policy and the Nyamira BWD Act. So my point is we need to embrace, on top of what other speakers have said, cooperation, partnership, and inclusivity. We work with everybody. Because the moment we work with everybody, we have goodwill from all corners. My age, for those ones who grew up, we were children of the community. Anybody could discipline any child. Anybody could control any child. But at the moment, with the children's rights, we need to do a lot of awareness and advocacy on what it entails on the child. This is our future. This is our heritage. So let us work as a team, and more so, we move to the ground and work as a team. We create awareness on child reform, Thank you so much, CRS. Thank you so much, Madam Teacher.
Yeah, and thank you so much changing the way we care. Let's give a round of applause to Madam Rachel. Madam Rachel is the director, Nyamira County, Department of it's a mouthful of a department. I'm sorry, and I did not want to.
Gender, youth, sports, culture, and social services.
Gender, youth, sports, culture, and social services.
Where children are,
where-
PWD, marginalized, youths are there, everybody.
And she has been amazing from day one to the day we actually said we are pulling out Kidogo. The energy that she had, she continues to have it. It's one of the counties that we found it so easy to get hold of the governor, right? He was very supportive. And as we speak, they had even committed some money into the child policy to support care reform. They were even given some money to implement the PWD, the person with disability, the board. So the power of collaboration, partnership, and working together really does wonders. And kudos and huge thanks to the leadership at the Nyamira County. And I know there are many other counties here if we give opportunities. So colleague, our guest speaker is around. I know Bi kidogo energy imepungua, but we would request that we hold on kidogo. And as we do that, there is another video. We have a collection of videos that we really want to share with you. And that essence of us being here, appreciating the work, appreciating colleagues who have been here. So again, let's take a moment. Let's try and hear some of the feedback from our beneficiaries during the implementation of the initiative. Thank you.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Tafadhali makofi kidogo kwa hii. Asanteni sana. I think we've used a lot of English. Ikizungu imekuwa mingi kidogo. Sasa sijui kama tuvuke kidogo ngambo. Nimeona pana tuma. Tuingie pwani ama tuingie mtaani kidogo. Which is which? Pwani. Swali ni mtakieza? Tajaribu. Wajua kwa wale wamtoka na mbwa pale ni wamtoka. Si kutoka. Ni sawa lakini tuwashukuru. Hadija ameongelea mengi, amezungumzia mengi sana, kwa hivyo kwa ufupi just a synopsis so that we can get exactly what is it that you're saying in small. How about we just do this like a panel discussion, rather just a discussion. When did changing the way we care started? Mwaka upi? Tuangalie iwapo tulikuwa tu miili hapa ama mawazo yalikuwa mbali. 20? Miaka ni ngapi? 7. And so far, the most remarkable achievement ilikuwa gani? Pardon? Ilikuwa, how many system changes were harvested? Hiyo kidogo into Peter. 467 system changes were harvested in over 7 years. And with the stakeholders that were in there, the government, nini. Tunasema serikali yetu ilikuwa kwa wale walikuwa pale juu. Miongoni, actually si miongoni ila walikuwa juu. Kwa hivyo ukitoka hapa baadaye ukitoka, ujue serikali imefanya kazi upande huu. Sasa, and there are key lessons that were actually learned across these. One of them being faith influence, sustained changes, partnerships and promotions of local ownership, and also scaling care reforms are one of the key. And these are things that we need to put into consideration mostly when we are thinking about there. One thing that I have imenifurahisha ni kwamba the goal for changing the way we care was children thrive in safe and nurturing families. Hadija amesema it takes a village to raise a child, right? And I'm also very much proud in seeing that under CRS there's also an initiative called the Wezesha Vijana Youth Program. And I'm very much glad that the youth sector lead is here today. Tunaweza mpunge upepo kidogo, namwona mali hapa yupo. She's right over there. This is also an initiative for children. What exactly do we do in the youth sector? We try, sababu kila saa huwa naona wakisema mtoto akimaliza high school ni campus direct. Ya ukitoka hapa tu ni uni. Usiposikia UON, Moi Eldoret, ama pale, But there are other segments or other sectors where also children can thrive in. And that is the TVET colleges as well. There's a lot of handicap and manpower that is done on the other side, and you'd be surprised how much they're thriving. Only that, the word is not yet out there. So please, if I would ask all of you to become ambassadors of that, it would really put a milestone. And also, let's appreciate CRS for that initiative as well. Because trust me when I say it has done wonders. This is something I have seen and witnessed in Nairobi, in Isiolo, and Marsabit as well. I hope to, kama tunaweza shuka upande mwingine wa pwani itakuwa sawa. Tuma, pana mikakati yaja, tutashuka huko. Alafu kidogo bwa, tupande na juu Kisumu pale, nimeona kina dada wetu wa Kisumu hapo. Tutaangalia kama pia tuweza angalia tupande upande mwingine. So, and for the final thoughts, it's 7 years for changing the way we care. And it has been a very good journey. We thank the Almighty Mwenyezi Mungu atujalie. And for now, naelezewa kwamba pia pana hawakuwa wamepata ujumbe. Iwapo ungejisikia ungependa kujisaidia kwa hali ya mwili, pana vyumba vya usaidizi, utatoka upande huu, unyoroshe. Njia hiyo, wazungu wasema the hallway, you can take the hallway down. There are restrooms that are over there if you would like to help yourself. And as of now, natoa habari na twangu kule, ripoti imefika, duru za kuaminika zinasema chai kiko tayari. Kwa hivyo iwapo, na hii ni ombi kwa kila mmoja wetu, pana chai imetengezwa pale, pana mahamri ukipenda, pana keki pia ukipenda, pana donasi pia ukipenda, pana matunda pia ukipenda, parachichi ukipenda, yapo kwa mengi pale. Kwa hivyo tunaombwa kidogo, wajua ukizungumza sana mate atakauka nini, ushona, tuwezaenda kidogo utie kama chai yako moja kidogo mbili, utakavyojitaka wewe. In layman's language, tea is ready. Tea is ready and you are all asked, tafadhali twende tunywe chai. Ila kabla tuende, si jamani, mmoja wetu atubarikie chai hicho, ili tunapokwenda tukinywa tupate ile nguvu. Jamani, Sheikh, salamu alaykum, tubarikie jamani. Oh Father, tumsifu Yesu Kristo. Milele amina. Tafadhali.
Naomba tusimame kwa Mwenyezi Mungu kwa maombi. Almighty God and Father, we thank you for the very precious gift of life, and we thank you for this day and for all of us gathered here for this noble purpose. And also we thank you for your providence, what is set before us, show that you love us, and also that we work and live together in changing the society. Bless it and help us continue sharing and caring. We ask all this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Thank you so much, Father Konyacha.